Hi everyone, welcome to the tutorial video of Tales Are Real. My name is Richard and today I'm going to show you how to play this fantastic game. Tales Are Real combines strategy, skill and a touch of luck, allowing you to command powerful creatures and engaging in epic battles. Before we jump into the gameplay, let's take a quick look at the basics of the game. Trust me, it's easier than you might think. In Tales Are Real, each player takes on the role of a commander and builds their deck using a variety of creatures and equipment cards. The goal is simple: defeat your opponent's commander by strategically playing cards and managing your resources. Draw cards, play creatures, and equip your units with powerful weapons to gain the upper hand on the battlefield. Keep an eye on your resources, play your moves carefully, and anticipate your opponent's strategies to secure victory. Remember, every decision matters, and the outcome of each battle depends on your choices. To fully grasp the game's mechanics and develop your skills, I highly recommend starting with some practice matches. Don't worry if you make mistakes along the way. Learning from them is part of the fun. Are you ready to embark on this exciting journey? Let's jump right in and discover Tales Are Real together. As a commander in Tales Are Real, you have the privilege of choosing from 4 distinct races, each with its own unique trait significantly impacting your playstyle. Let's begin with the Animalis, a race of humanoid animals with regenerative powers. This special trait gives the Animalis race exceptional resilience and adds a unique strategic element to their gameplay by allowing them to restore their health at the beginning of each round. Next we have the Shadows, enigmatic beings hailing from the twilight, an alternative reality. When attacked, the Shadows have the ability to step into the twilight, halving the incoming damage. However, when the incoming damage is an odd number, such as 3, the Shadow Commander must rely on the roll of the dice to determine whether they take 1 or 2 damage. This unique trait makes the Shadows masters of evasion, unpredictability, and calculated risk-taking. Among all creatures, humans may consider the weakest, but what they lack in physical strength, they make up for with their knowledge and resourcefulness. Humans don heavy armor, relying on its protective properties to prevent deadly damage on the battlefield. Incoming damage is reduced by the armor value of their gear. This strategic choice of wearing heavy armor adds a layer of resilience to the humans' gameplay, allowing them to withstand attacks that would otherwise be devastating. Driven by their insatiable bloodthirst, the creatures of the undead race possess a special and powerful ability. Living dead have the uncanny ability to heal themselves by striking their opponent's creatures. This remarkable healing ability fuels their relentless thirst for blood and gives them a distinct advantage on the battlefield. Relying on successful strikes adds an element of risk and reward to the undead's gameplay, as they must secure hits to sustain themselves. Tales Are Real is a deck-building dual card game where you have 2 different types of cards you can build your deck out of: creature cards and equipment cards. Creature cards serve as your primary cards, representing the powerful beings you command on the battlefield. Each creature card contains essential information to help you strategize and unleash their full potential on the battlefield. Let's take a closer look to what you can expect to find on a creature card. First, you'll find the creature's base damage, which represents the strength of their attacks against opponents. This value can be increased by equipping a weapon or using potions. Next, there are the creature's life points, indicating how much damage they can withstand before being defeated. You'll also see icons indicating which types of equipment the creature can be equipped with, allowing you to enhance their strength further. The creature card also displays the value of its race-specific trait, a unique ability we already talked about in the previous section. To fully understand the mechanics of the creature's ability, the card text provides you with detailed information about how it works. Last but not least, the resource cost indicates the amount of resources needed to play the creature onto the battlefield. By considering all these elements on the creature cards, you make informed decisions and construct your army. Equipment cards play a vital role in supporting and empowering your creatures. These cards can be equipped by your creatures on the battlefield, enhancing their abilities and providing strategic advantages. There are 4 different types of equipment cards: melee weapons, ranged weapons, shields, and potions. Among these, melee weapons hold the highest potential for additional damage in the game. Melee weapons come in 2 forms, those wielded in one hand and those requiring both hands for use. As your creature only has 2 hands available for equipping, they can wield only one 2-handed equipment card at a time. However, one of the significant advantages of melee weapons is the existence of one-handed equipment cards. By equipping a one-handed weapon, your creature has its second hand free for other purposes, such as holding a shield. This combination strikes a perfect balance between damage and defense, providing a tactical advantage on the battlefield. Shields are special equipment cards that provide no additional damage to the creature, but instead, they offer a valuable defensive attribute, the block chance. The block chance represents the possibility of successfully blocking an incoming attack. In Tales Are Real, the block chance is determined through a die roll. For example, when using this shield, if you roll a 7 or higher, you successfully block the attack, avoiding any hits or damage. This mechanism adds an element of chance and anticipation to shield-based defenses. Shields are wielded in the companion hand, allowing the creature to benefit from their defensive capabilities and additionally using a melee weapon in the main hand. Among the equipment cards, ranged weapons offer a lower amount of additional damage compared to their melee counterparts. Ranged weapons are typically wielded in both hands, maximizing their potential for precise, long-range attacks. However, what they lack in damage output, they make up for with a special ability designed to disrupt their target. This special ability reduces the block chance of the target, making it harder for them to defend against incoming attacks. Shields, which are effective against melee attacks, are not as useful in countering ranged weapon attacks. This highlights the strategic difference between defending against melee and ranged assaults. No matter which type of card you choose, 2 things remain constant: the ability text and the resource cost. The ability text on each card describes the mechanics and details of the card's special ability. It is essential to read and understand this text carefully, as it provides crucial information about how the card functions and its impact on the gameplay. On the other hand, the resource cost is a key element that indicates how many resources you need to spend in order to play the card. Regardless of the type of equipment card you select, carefully evaluate the ability text, and considering the resource cost will empower you to make informed decisions. Unlike other equipment cards, potions cannot be equipped by creatures, but are instead used during the battle. Potions do not provide additional damage or block chance, and they cannot be wielded in a hand like other equipment cards. Potions offer a convenient and quick way to impact the game without any resource cost involved. The crucial element of a potion card lies within its effect text, which describes how a creature is affected when the potion is used. Potions can only be used during the battle phase when attacking and defending creatures are declared, but before any attacks have been executed. This timing restriction adds an additional layer of strategy to your gameplay. Now that you have a good understanding of the cards in Tales Are Real, it's time to assemble your own creature and equipment decks and dive into the battle. With the knowledge of creature cards, equipment cards, and their unique abilities, you can strategically build your decks to suit your playstyle. To play a match of Tales Are Real, there are a few essential components you'll need. First, you'll need a creature deck consisting of 10 cards, representing your chosen race. This deck will be the foundation of your forces, showcasing the creatures you'll command on the battlefield. Next, you'll require an equipment deck consisting of 20 cards, providing a range of gear and enhancements for your creatures. The equipment deck will offer various options to empower your creature's capabilities. Each player begins the match with 5 moral points representing your will to fight. Each time a creature of yours is destroyed, you lose moral points equal to its resource cost. If you run out of moral points, you lose the game and your opponent wins. Before the match begins, each player selects a champion card of their choice and lays it face down on the battlefield. The champion is your main creature and has no resource cost. If your champion gets destroyed, you lose the game instantly, regardless of how many moral points you have left. To resolve actions and determine outcomes, each player is provided with a d12 die. The die will be used for various purposes, adding an element of chance and unpredictability to the gameplay. To keep track of important game elements, life, bleeding, and weakness markers are placed next to each player. These markers assist in managing life points, tracking the effects of bleeding, and indicating weakness. With all these components at hand, you're ready to embark on an epic battle in the world of Tales Are Real. Now that the battlefield is prepared, let the game begin. In Tales Are Real, gameplay is divided in 2 rounds, each with a supply phase and a battle phase. During the supply phase, you have the opportunity to play creature cards and equip them, strengthening your forces for the upcoming battle. Then, in the battle phase, you unleash your creatures and engage in fierce combat to deal damage to your opponent. But let's start from the beginning. In the first round, each player shuffles their decks and reveals their champion cards. To determine who goes first, each player rolls the dice. The player with the higher number on their dice roll gains the initiative and takes the first turn. To get a better understanding of the gameplay, let's take a closer look to the phases, starting with the supply phase. In the first round, you will draw 3 creature cards and 4 equipment cards to your hand. In all subsequent rounds after the first round, you can draw 2 cards during the supply phase. You can choose to draw 2 creature cards, 2 equipment cards, or 1 of each. To bring cards onto the battlefield, you must pay their resource cost. The player with the initiative gains a discard of 1 resource for the first card they play in each round. To pay the cost of a card you wish to play, you must discard another card from your hand to the graveyard. The discarded card should have at least the same resource cost as the card you intended to play. If you don't have a card in your hand that precisely matches the resource cost, you can discard multiple cards whose combined resource cost equal or exceed the cost of the desired card. While potion cards do not have a resource cost, they can still be utilized in resource management. Potion cards can be discarded for 1 resource, providing an additional option for paying costs. Remember, your hand cards are not the only resource at your disposal. You can also leverage the equipment cards you have already played in previous rounds. These equipment cards can be exchanged between your characters during the supply phase. This flexibility allows you to optimize your resources and adapt your strategies as the battle unfolds. However, it is essential to keep in mind the capability between your creatures and the equipment they can wield. Ensure that the equipment you exchange aligns with your creature's capabilities. During the battle phase, the player with the initiative has the opportunity to initiate their attacks. To launch an attack, the player must choose one of their creatures and slightly pull the card forward, declaring it as the offensive creature. The opponent player then declares one of their creatures as the defender by pulling the card slightly forward as well. Once the creatures are declared, the use of potions can be initiated. Potions are played face down, enhancing the creature's abilities, and are revealed before the attack. With all preparations completed, the creatures are ready to engage in combat. The The attack of the offensive creature is resolved first. In this scenario, the Cunning Fox launches an attack against the opponent's champion card. Equipped with a powerful two-handed melee weapon, our Cunning Fox adds 2 damage to its base damage. In addition, the potion we used adds an extra 3 damage, effectively boosting the Fox attack power to 6. To successfully damage the opponent's champion, the Cunning Fox must land a hit. Unfortunately for us, the opponent's creature is equipped with a shield and rolls a 7, successfully blocking the attack. As a result, no damage is dealt by our Cunning Fox. With the opponent's champion surviving the attack, it's now time for its counterattack. Equipped with a one-handed melee weapon, the opponent's champion deals a total of 2 damage to our Cunning Fox, as there's nothing that could prevent a successful hit. Despite the counterattack, our Cunning Fox remains with 2 life points and survives the assault. After the attack of the offensive creature and the counterattack of the defensive creature, both creatures become exhausted. To exhaust a creature, you simply flip it to the side, indicating that it has been used in combat and cannot attack, counterattack, or being attacked anymore in this round. However, it's important to note that the opponent's champion is an exception to this rule. When the champion defends, it does not exhaust, allowing it to defend multiple times. In this case, our Cunning Fox exhausts, but the opponent's champion remains ready for further defense. As a consequence of the high additional damage provided by the potion, the Fox additionally suffers 2 stacks of bleeding. Before we reach the end of the round, let's explore the potential for additional attacks with our remaining creatures. In this scenario, we have 2 more non-exhausted creatures, offering the opportunity for 2 additional attacks. However, it's important to note that launching these attacks is not mandatory. We have the strategic choice to refrain from attacking with our other creatures. By opting not to attack, the non-exhausted creatures of the offensive player will suffer 1 stack of weakness each as a coward penalty. Choosing not to attack can be a tactical decision when considering the potential counterattacks from the opponent's creatures. But before those creatures receive their coward penalties, let's explore what happens first. By choosing not to attack with our remaining creatures, the battle phase comes to an end. As the round draws to a close, each creature on the battlefield loses 1 stack of each condition suffered. In the case of our Cunning Fox, it loses 1 stack of bleeding. As a result, the Fox takes 1 damage, reducing its life points to 1. Damage from bleeding ignores all race-specific traits or abilities the creature may possess. This damage cannot be reduced, showcasing the relentless nature of the bleeding condition. After this stage, if applicable, the coward penalties take effect. Each creature suffers 1 stack of weakness as a consequence of not attacking. Creatures affected by weakness experience a decrease in their damage output, losing 1 damage for each stack of weakness. As a result of their coward penalty, creatures suffering from weakness will deal reduced damage. It's important to note that weakness stacks acquired through the coward penalty are lost at the end of the next round. With the conclusion of the first round, a new round begins. All exhausted creatures are now refreshed, ready to engage in upcoming round's battle. As the next round starts, the initiative shifts to the opponent player. This grants the opponent player the advantage of a discounted resource cost on their first play card, go first during the supply phase, and initiate attacks during the battle phase. This alternating pattern of initiative continues until a player either loses their champion or runs out of moral points. And that's it for this tutorial to Tales Are Real. I'm Richard, and I hope you enjoyed diving into the world of this exciting game. Remember, Tales Are Real offers thrilling battles, strategic decision making, and endless possibilities. So gather your champion, assemble your decks, and let the battles begin. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I hope you're ready now to forge your own path in the realm of Tales Are Real.